how do we understand each other? An introduction. So, how do we understand each other is a question that's not only asked by linguists, but by everyone. And understanding each other is not just communicating with each other. Language is really rich as it plays a role in everyday life that is central to understanding one another. Without language, it would be much harder to try and understand each other as it portrays a lot of meaning. Understanding each other is knowing how people think, and we have to understand the whole thought process that comes with language and not just the production of language at the end. People believe that through studying linguistics they can answer the questions about understanding, but this expectation cannot always be fulfilled. Linguists can try to answer, but it'll be a long time before they come up with a definite answer. When people are asked the question, how do we understand each other, there's such a wide variety of answers that are given because everyone has their own unique views. So for this presentation series, an anonymous forum was set up asking the question, how do we understand each other? The participants were asked to specify whether they would consider themselves as linguists or non-linguists, and then just asked to post their answer to the question. Below in the table are some of the answers that we received. So the answers from the non-linguists seem to focus on skills that would need to be developed by individuals to understand other people and themselves. These skills included things such as body language, comprehension and clear expression. These are all skills that can be developed, and I think non-linguists seem to think that it's something you can learn to do, you can learn to understand each other. By giving rules on how we understand each other, they reveal that they believe we can understand each other just by incorporating these skills into our everyday life and that nothing else is needed. Each person thinks it's different skills that are needed, but if we master these skills, then we've mastered understanding one another. The linguists appear to take a different sort of approach, as I guess we would expect. On a whole, the answers given by linguists actually seemed much more pessimistic on the topic. There was always a recurrent theme of the difficulty people have understanding one another. The word try in one of the answers shows that there may be a way to understand, but it has to be worked out, and through the study of linguistics is how we would do it. Linguists often aim to try and make people's unconscious knowledge of language conscious to them. If we understand the knowledge of language that we do hold unconsciously, then it would give us an insight on how we do understand one another and ourselves. Some people believe they already have the answer to this question. Academics such as Benjamin Bergen have published a book called Louder Than Words, The New Science of How the Mind Makes Meaning. This book claims that people understand one another through things like body language and gestures, as that portrays meaning, and all we need to do is make our language clearer to express meaning to help others understand. These points may be completely relevant, but from other studies by linguists it shows that they are not the only answers. Understanding how we understand is a topic within this. Many linguists are always trying to work out the answer to the question. There are multiple strains of linguistics which all have their own individual answers, but not independently. They work together to create an overall picture of understanding. Linguistics is classified as a science, and it's due to its scientific inquiry into understanding, looking into language and stuff that surrounds language, that we decide it's a science. And there's not one answer, but multiple aspects that work together like cogs in a watch. When one turns, they all click into place and we can kind of make an image that works. Through this presentation series, we will look at some of the individual journeys taken to answer this question through the different strains of linguistics. Each presentation will cover one linguistic strain's journey. Through experiencing this presentation series, you should start at the introduction presentation and end at the conclusion, but the presentations in between are interchangeable, as there is no correct way to look at this question. All of the strains of the linguistics are working together towards the same outcome, so no matter which path you take, you will end up in the same place. Some of the different elements that this series is going to explore are things such as attitudes to language, language and identities, language in the media, socio and psycholinguistics, TESOL, semantics and pragmatics, and at the end, or wherever you decide to put it, there's a linguistic student's approach to the question itself. Many of these elements do have crossovers, and you will find stuff kind of being repeated but from a different view, and that's okay to just try and connect the pieces together and make them work.